Google Forms Part 3. We're going to take a look at the way that you can go in and have a script grade this for you and actually email the responses back to the students for you. So the script that we're going to use, it kind of has a funny name. It's called Flubaroo. I don't know why it's called that. It's just called that. And so we'll look at how we insert the script and then how we work it. So putting the script in here is fairly simple. We want to insert a script. So we go to Insert and we go down here to Script. And there's all kinds of scripts in Google, but the one we want to focus on is Flubaroo. So we can search for it up here. And we just type it in, and it is F-L-U-B-A-R-O-O. It's kind of a weird name there. And you'll see it comes up. When we find it, we simply hit Install, and it will install it for us. Okay, sometimes it takes a little bit, so you just have to be patient. It's not always instantaneous. Once it installs, it's going to ask you if you want to authorize this. And so, yes, we want to authorize this to be put in here. And so it came up. It says good. We can close this, and we've installed it. We're good with this. Everything's in there that we need. So we hit close. Now you notice in the toolbar up here we have a new tool. This is called Flubaroo. What's neat about this is it will allow us to grade this particular quiz that we've given out if we choose to do so. So we're going to click on Flubaroo, and you notice there's only two choices. There's an About and there's Grade Assignment. So right now we want to go ahead and grade this. Note that you can only grade it if you have more than one response in here. So if you try and go in and play with this and just enter in one thing, it's not going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Grade Assignment. And then for the most part, this is fairly self-explanatory if you read through here. So the first thing we have to do is choose what identifies the student, and it's the username. So over here you can see username. That's what identifies the student. And then for each question here, we choose if we want a point value or if we want to skip grading. So it might be an opinion-based question that we don't want. So we can choose different point values or skip that particular question. Both these I want to count, although they're both opinion questions technically, just so you can get an idea. So I go ahead and choose those. Now I have to select who I want the answer key to be. So this is an important note. Before you do this, you have to take the quiz yourself. And so you just go through it and you answer the questions, and then you use yourself as the answer key. So this is how the answer key, or I guess you could choose the smartest kid in class who got all of them right, but you probably want to take it yourself. All right, so we will go ahead and choose the first one here, and I'll set that as the answer key and hit continue. So again, it kind of walks you through what you need to do on each one of these. And what it's doing right now is actually grading the assignment behind me. It says, woohoo, grades are complete. So I want to go in and view. What it's done is create another tab on my spreadsheet down here. So notice it says grades. And if you had 20 kids, it would take each kid and it would tell the total amount of points they got right, their percentage, ooh, I didn't do very well, and the times I submitted the quiz, which is only once in this case, and whether or not I got the answer right, how many points I got on each one. So you can actually go through each kid here and see how well they did. And if you want to go back to the original spreadsheet view, I click Student Submissions. There's what we saw originally. Here are the grades. All right, so all this information's in here. You could stop here and just have the results for yourself, but here's what I really like about Flubaroo. You come back after you've graded Flubaroo and look at your options now. If you have more kids come in and take this, you can always regrade it, or if you want kids to take it a second time, you know, they took it the first time, they didn't do very well, you have them take a second time, you can always regrade it. So keep that in mind. You can also email grades. I think this is amazing. So we come in and we hit email grades, and we're going to use our username, which is their email address, to email it to them. So all that's already collected. Include list of questions and scores. So it'll send them the questions so they can see whether they got each question right. And then you can also include the answer key. What a great thing for like review type quizzes. So you can actually have them see the answers if you want to. Totally optional. You could just send them the score overall, but if you want them to see the questions here, answers here, and then you can put a message. Now remember, this message is to the entire class. It's not to an individual student. So keep that in mind. And I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. and it's going to email these out. Grades were successfully emailed to one student. If you had 20 students, it'd obviously do it to all 20. I'm going to jump over here to my email, and I'm going to open up this right here, the email from Flubaroo. And it says, grades for your assignments, test responses were just emailed to one student. That's me as a teacher. It's telling me that it just emailed that out. All right, went back to my inbox here. Now if I was a student, here's what the student would see. Notice that it tells them their total score. I chose for it to show the questions and whether or not I got them right. So here's the questions, what I answered, what it said the correct answer was, and the points that I got and what points were possible. It's red because I got it wrong. If it was green, it would be correct, and I didn't get any of these correct, but that's where it would come in. So now you can email out those responses with very little effort involved here. So that's how we can get these responses sent back to the kids. So you have all the data either through summary, you can go back and look, you can grade it with Flubaroo and see the results, and then you can within seconds get these results back to students, all by using Flubaroo. One suggestion I would make if you're doing this for a class, set up your form, especially if you have multiple classes. Let's say you teach 5 sections or 6 sections of all the same thing. Set up the form, insert Flubaroo, take the quiz yourself, and that whole process will be done. Then that's your template. I would make a copy of this form for each one of your classes and send the copy to each of your classes. That way all the work's done. You don't have to go in and take the quiz for each class. You don't have to insert Flubaroo for each class. If you do all of it the first time on a blank one and make a copy for each section you teach, you'll make your life a little bit easier in the long run. All right, so that's Google Forms Part 3, how to insert a Flubaroo script.